Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Jesus versus Gen Z. It is your host today again, Oluwafe Kemi Adeyemo. You can call me Faye or you can call me Kemi. If it's your first time here, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back again. Today we're talking about something extremely interesting, and it is titled cancel culture. Because let's be honest, the internet has turned into this big courtroom and people are just receiving life sentences left and right for something they said like years ago. But then the question is, as Christians, should we even respond to this? And even if we do, how do we respond? Okay, from the beginning, what exactly even is this cancel culture we're talking about? Cancel culture is basically where somebody makes a mistake, let's say yesterday, 2 days ago, 15 years ago, 2 years ago, and people on the internet just decide that this person deserves zero grace and they deserve to be cancelled. And mind you, people get cancelled for their opinions, their past mistakes, and their past actions. Okay, let's be honest, some people do say some things that are really offensive, they're so uncalled for, and they're basically cancel worthy, and we should hold them accountable. However, holding them accountable is different from canceling them, because canceling them just destroys them, and that's where the problem starts. And mind you, we see this every single day. Somebody's old tweet resurfaces, somebody's old picture comes back, a celebrity makes a controversial statement, a pastor does a sermon and somebody just cuts like 10 seconds out of the sermon and they post it, and everybody in the comments is like, oh, you are done, you are finished, you are this. Come. Who gave us that right to just say that this person's life is finished? And is cancel culture even biblical? Let's look at scriptures, because let me tell you, if God was into this cancel culture business, half of the people that he used would not stand a chance. I mean, Paul was persecuting Christians, Moses was a whole murderer, David was stealing other people's wives, he was an adulterer. If Twitter was around back then, and you're telling me Moses had a criminal record and he could become a leader, cancelled. Paul blocked. David, an adulterer, cancelled. But instead of cancelling them, God redeemed them. And the Bible says in James 2:13 that mercy triumphs over judgment. So if God doesn't cancel people, why do we? Now, before you guys cancel me and say, Faye, but are you saying we should just let people go with no consequences and just let them live life with no consequences? Obviously, no. There should be consequences. However, you should have these three questions in your mind, because again, holding them accountable and canceling them are two different things. But these three questions are very important. 1, is this person genuinely sorry, or they're just apologizing because they got caught? Because that can get you, because it's like, okay, then what do you really do? Secondly, are we responding with wisdom, or are we just following the crowd? And lastly, are we allowing room for growth, or are we just going to punish this person forever? As Christians, we must be different. We need to be different. If somebody makes a mistake, we don't just destroy them. The main goal should be correction and not destruction. Because even Jesus himself, he created people with love. He did not just throw people away. Mind you, he did not ignore sin. However, he didn't throw people away. And I remember the woman who was caught in adultery, and people were going to stone her, really bad. And Jesus said, let who is without sin cast the first stone. Would you cast the first stone? So I ask you today, before you cancel somebody, can you confidently say that you've never ever made a mistake? So now that we know that cancel culture is not God's way, how do we respond when somebody does something wrong, controversial, something that is cancel worthy? Here are 3 things you should keep in mind. First thing is, you should call people in and not out. Instead of publicly shaming somebody, just correct them privately. And even the Bible says in Matthew 18:15 that if your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between both of you. So imagine if we just practice this instead of just exposing people on the timeline. Secondly, be fair and not reactive. Because let's be honest, some people just go out canceling people that they don't even know. They've never heard of this person, but because everybody's retweeting, everybody's saying that, oh, this person is cancelled, so just follow that bandwagon and go cancel the person. But you should ask yourself, do I even know the full story? And lastly, remember that redemption is possible. I feel like we believe as Christians that we have a God that gives grace. However, why can't we Christians give this grace out and let people have the room to learn and to grow and basically show that they're sorry? If somebody has genuinely changed, let them show it instead of just holding their past against them forever. So my challenge for you this week is basically, whenever you see like something about canceling going on social media and you want to respond, ask yourself these 2 questions. Am I responding with grace, or am I just following the crowd? Or do you even know the full story? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. And I also want to hear if you guys think cancel culture has gone too far, or this is exactly what we need. And of course, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share with anybody that you think would benefit from this. And of course, don't forget to comment down below again what your thoughts are about this video. My name remains Oluwafei Kemi Adeyemo Feyi or Kemi, and I will see you in the next one.